So Apple finished their new event, and that's it. Let's talk about it. To begin with, Apple released their AirPod Pro, and they're better. Obviously, they're going to be better. They're not going to release something that is inferior compared to last year. However, what I like about this year is the fact that they put a heart rate monitor within the earbuds, which is a really cool feature. I like that. And if you're not a watch user, this is going to be a very helpful feature for you when you're doing your workouts or other activities. That's a win to the consumer considering they did not change the price. When it comes to the Apple Watch, they pretty much kept the same design as is, just like the year before and the year before that. And they added some 5G connectivity to the cellular model, but honestly, I don't think anybody will notice. But it's a good feature to have. It's going to increase the longevity of those watches. And now let's talk iPhones, which I'm pretty sure most of you are here for that. Before we talk about the iPhone 17, let's talk about that selfie camera that all of iPhones have across the board. They have square sensors this time, which is different from what the competition or previous iPhones had before. And what that allow you is to change the aspect ratio of your selfie picture without changing the orientation of your phone, which is a cool feature. It's nice to have. I liked what I saw when they were showing it. Looks cool. And one thing about this keynote that I really liked is the fact that Apple is no longer going to sell that 128 GB variant of their iPhone 17, and even the basic iPhone 17 is going to start with 256 GB of storage. And at the same price as last year's model without changing the price, that's a win to the consumer. And off the get-go, the iPhone 17, they increased the screen size, pretty much making the phone edge to edge, and at the same time changed the panel to a panel that can do 120 hertz, which I'll be honest with you, somebody who's buying the iPhone 17 won't even care. But it's a nice feature to have, and having more features is always better, and they did increase the price, so win-win to the consumer. And I'm all about wins for the consumer. And of course, the iPhone 17 has an upgraded processor, the A19, as well as a bigger battery capacity. And now comes the two phones that are most anticipated, the iPhone Air and the iPhone 17 Pro. And now let's talk about the iPhone Air. And honestly, I think this is going to be the iPhone that Apple is not expecting to sell in big numbers. It has the same processor as the iPhone 17 Pro, according to Apple, even though it's missing a GPU core. So I'm not sure how that is the same, but I mean, sure, whatever, Apple. This is like a car company trying to sell you a V6 and telling you it's the same as the V8 engine, minus 2 cylinders. The phone is super slim and pretty much everything is stripped out. It comes with one camera, even though Apple is advertising it as Fusion camera. It's one camera. When they tell you Fusion and it can do up to 2x zoom, that's digital zoom, just to let you know. One speaker. It's thin though. The screen 6.7, which is a pretty good panel. And that's pretty much it for the iPhone Air. I don't have much to say about it till we talk about the iPhone 17 Pro, because I'm not done talking about the iPhone Air. And now let's talk about the iPhone 17 Pro, which I know most of you tech-savvy folks are here for. Now, off the get-go, everybody was criticizing the design, which I honestly did not see it as ugly. Yes, it has the plateau just like the iPhone Air, and it looks okay with me. That hump at the back is not something new, what Apple calls the plateau. As a matter of fact, Xiaomi's been doing it since the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. But what I didn't like about the design is that piece of glass in the back of the iPhone 17 Pro. Honestly, that looks ugly. Glass has different reflective characteristics than aluminum. They look different, and especially when you have the phone on an angle, you can see kind of two different colors. And it's, in my opinion, so fugly. And to be honest, it makes it look like the phone has one of them MagSafe accessories stuck on it on the back, even though that's part of the phone. The design kind of reminds me of the first Pixel. This is a Pixel XL in white. Whether it's the outlandish colors or the bulkier design, I mean the phone is a bit thicker, It gives you the impression that Apple is making a rugged phone, when in reality, it's not. If you drop it, that aluminum chassis is going to scratch and it's going to look ugly as hell. So when I was looking at the Apple release of the iPhone 17 Pro with that massive bold font that they used, it kind of reminded me a bit with what Toyota put on their top of the line off-road products, the TRD. And they also provided those outlandish colors, the very bright orange, which kind of makes people think that it's a rugged phone, even though it's not. It is bulkier, that's for sure, and the color, that orange, reflects more uh, outdoors kind of lifestyle. But the phone is not a rugged phone. If you drop it, you might crack the glass or scuff the body. And you know how it is with the metal part of a phone, you scratch it and then the original color of that metal shows up underneath it. So that orange that Apple put on their phone, same thing with the blue one, if you drop it and scratch it, it's going to show the original color of the aluminum body. So yes, even though the iPhone 17 Pro is bulkier and it has those outlandish colors, in the end, it's not a rugged phone. If you drop it, it's gonna scuff and scratch, or worse, crack the screen. And of course, Apple put their best processor in that phone, and it has the A19 Pro, and I have no doubt that processor is going to be one of the best in the industry. However, one thing that grabbed my attention for this year is the fact that Apple, and it's the first time they do it in an iPhone, they put a vapor chamber. And what a vapor chamber usually does, it has deionized water, which transfers the heat away from the processor. In this case, Apple is transferring that heat from the processor to the body of the phone, and I believe that's the main reason why Apple switched back to aluminum rather than using glass. But that also made me think, is the A19 Pro a processor that runs hot? I personally believe it does, and that's why Apple, for the first time in an iPhone, they put a vapor chamber. And this brings me back to the iPhone Air. So if my speculation is correct and the A19 Pro processor runs hot, that the iPhone 17 Pro variants needed a vapor chamber so that it doesn't throttle, what happens with the iPhone Air? That phone is sandwiched between two layers of glass, which is glass is not the best conductive material out there. Therefore, I believe the iPhone Air won't benefit that much from the A19 Pro chip. I think after maybe 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to throttle, and eventually the iPhone 17, the regular variant with the regular A19 chip, is going to outperform it. I guess we'll see and find out when people start testing these phones. And you guessed it, Apple brought in a new set of sensors to their cameras, and I think the cameras are going to be excellent. They're always good on the iPhones. They're all 48 megapixel this time. However, one thing that I didn't like with the Apple keynote is the fact that they labeled their telephoto lens, which is a 4-time optical telephoto lens, they label it as 8-time quality or something within these lines. And to me, this sounds like a cheap way to misguide the consumer because in reality, the phone has a 4x optical zoom. The 8-time quality zoom that Apple is advertising is nothing but digital zoom. But Apple uses the term of 8 times quality zoom, which honestly, that's just digital zoom. So physically, the phone has 4 times optical zoom, and the rest, whatever you get afterwards, that's just digital zoom. And Apple, shame on you for saying it the way you do, 8 times quality just to misguide consumers. And also, shame on every reviewer who parroted the same sentence as Apple, 8 times quality. And yes, many of the reviewers, they mentioned it as is 8 times quality. What does 8 times quality mean? That means it's digital zoom, just to let everybody know. It's the same tactic Apple uses for the iPhone Air. It has one camera and they call it fusion lens, whatever they call it. They tell you one camera can act as two, but in reality it's one camera. And the 2x telephoto is nothing but digital zoom. This is not two cameras in one. It's one camera that is doing digital zoom, which you can do in any other phone out there these days and get decent results. So what's the bottom line? I think the iPhone 17 and the 17 Pro variants are going to be good phones. Apple always releases something that is competitive with the other manufacturers. So should you buy one? In my honest opinion, if you have an iPhone 16, there is no point to upgrade it to the iPhone 17. As a matter of fact, I don't think you will care about the iPhone 17. You're not that type of customer that will care about the greatest and latest. But if you have an iPhone 16 Pro or even 15 Pro, do you upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro? Personally, I wouldn't advise you to do it unless your phone is bugging and it's on its last leg. Then yes, you can upgrade to the phone, you're gonna love it. Yes, the new iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, they have upgraded battery, upgraded cameras, and upgraded processor, but I don't think there's such a big leap forward for you to ditch a fully functional with no issue iPhone 16 Pro or iPhone 15 Pro for that matter. Yes, Apple claims it's the fastest iPhone. Of course, it's going to be the fastest iPhone. Imagine going to their keynote and having Tim Cook telling you, oh, yeah, the iPhone 17 or 17 Pro are worse than the previous model. That won't happen.
We appreciate it very much, Tim. Apple.
And yes, I know the new iPhones, they have a new screen that is anti-reflective, but honestly, I don't think that's a good reason for you to ditch a fully functional last year model for this year's. In other words, flipping those TikTok videos is going to be the same. And of course, if you want to buy the iPhone 17 Pro or the iPhone 17 Pro Max in order to flex on others, then do whatever you want to do, dude. It's your money. Do whatever you want to do with your money, man. I can't tell you how to spend your money. Spend it however you want. And with this conclusion, I hope this video gave you a quick summary about the Apple event.